Welcome, my friend. I'm truly glad you're here because today we're about to talk about something that quietly transforms people, something that reshapes emotional strength and changes the way you deal with pain forever. We're going to walk through an inner journey that begins not with words, not with arguments, not with explanations, but with silence. A silence so powerful that it speaks louder than any reply you could ever give. A silence that becomes your strength, your protection, and your ultimate way of rising above those who tried to hurt you. You know, life doesn't always come with warm smiles, open arms, or gentle hearts. Sometimes the people you trust most are the ones who end up cutting you the deepest. Sometimes the ones you love give you the most painful wounds. And sometimes the ones you stood by are the same ones who disappear the moment you need them. You might not show it, but deep inside, that pain you carry has weight. It's heavy. It can shape the way you look at people. It can make you question your worth. It can even make you want to fight back, defend yourself, shout your truth, or explain everything to make them understand what they've done to you. But today we're talking about another way, a far more powerful way. A way that requires more strength than shouting, more intelligence than arguing, and more dignity than fighting. When they hurt you, stay silent, because sometimes silence becomes the loudest, strongest, and most unforgettable response of all. Let me take you into a moment you've lived before. Picture someone who once mattered to you, someone you trusted. Maybe a friend who slowly changed. Maybe a family member whose words hurt more than they should. Maybe a partner who made promises they didn't keep. Or maybe someone who never acknowledged the effort you gave, the love you offered, or the loyalty you carried. You know that sinking feeling the moment you realize they just don't care the way you did. It stings, doesn't it? It burns somewhere inside the chest, right where old memories used to feel warm. The natural instinct is to talk, to explain, to justify, to defend yourself. You want them to understand your pain, to see the truth, to realize what they've done. But let me tell you something powerful. People who genuinely care don't need explanations, and people who don't care will never understand them, no matter how many words you speak. And this is where silence becomes your medicine. When you choose silence, you're not losing. You're choosing yourself. You're choosing your peace, your sanity, your emotional maturity. When they hurt you and you stay silent, you shift the power. You take your energy back. You stop feeding their ego, their drama, their manipulation, or their indifference. Silence becomes your shield. Silence becomes a mirror that forces them to face themselves. You might be thinking, does silence really speak louder than words? Oh yes, it does. Because silence is not the absence of a response, it is the response. Silence is not emptiness, it is a message, and not just any message. It sets a message that says, I don't need to explain myself to you. I refuse to beg for the respect I deserve. I said not going to lower my energy for your negativity. If my presence didn't teach you, my absence will. And you know what? The people who hurt you notice your silence. They feel it, even when they pretend they don't, even when they act unbothered, even when they show no reaction. Trust me, silence rattles the soul more than angry words ever will. Because words can be ignored, twisted, or argued with. Silence cannot. Silence makes people wonder. Silence makes people question. Silence makes people regret. Silence makes people reflect. When you argue with someone who hurt you, they see your pain as a reaction. When you cry in front of them, they see your vulnerability. When you explain yourself, they see your need for closure. But when you stay silent, they see your strength. They see your control. They see that they no longer have any power over your emotions. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine someone who tried to break you. They expected you to react. They expected you to fall apart. They expected you to become emotional, desperate, or angry, but instead, you smiled, walked away, and stayed silent. Do you know what that does? It confuses them. It shakes them. It leaves them wondering what changed, what happened, and why you no longer give them the reaction they were hoping for. Nothing hits harder than someone realizing they no longer have access to the parts of you they used to take for granted. Silence is not weakness. Silence is emotional discipline. Silence is intelligence. Silence is self-respect. There will come a day when you look back and thank yourself for choosing silence. You'll realize that responding would have only drained you. Fighting back would have only fed their ego. Explaining yourself would have only made them feel more important than they truly were. But staying silent keeps your dignity intact. It keeps your power unshaken. And most importantly, it keeps your heart safe. People who hurt others often expect noise. They expect drama. They expect reaction. Because they thrive on the attention it brings. They want to see the damage they've caused. They want to feel powerful. But when you stay silent, you give them nothing. Absolutely nothing. And that nothing becomes the loudest thing they've ever heard from you. Sometimes silence is not about punishing them. It's about healing you. Silence gives you space to breathe, to think, to reflect, to grow, to regain control over your emotions. You don't need to announce your worth. You don't need to prove your pain. You don't need to justify your feelings. Your silence becomes your reset button, your moment of transformation, your way of saying, I choose peace over chaos. And let me tell you something from the deepest part of truth. The people who hurt you will eventually remember how you reacted. They will remember how they made you feel small, how they took you for granted, how they expected you to chase after them for answers or closure. But more than anything, they will remember your silence. They will think about it in quiet moments. They will question themselves. They will replay the last interaction with you, wondering why you didn't argue, why you didn't fight, why you didn't explain. And that wondering, that confusion, that self-reflection is something your silence created. But your silence is not for them. Your silence is your healing. Your silence is your boundary. Your silence is your power. Your silence is your message. Every time you stay silent instead of reacting, you rise a little higher. Every time you choose silence over chaos, you become stronger. Every time you respond with silence instead of emotion, you reclaim a piece of your heart. Because silence means you finally understand that not every battle deserves your voice. Not every person deserves your explanation. Not every hurt deserves a reaction. You are not here to convince anyone of your worth. Your worth is already there. Intact, solid, independent of people's opinions or behaviors. Your silence teaches them that you are more mature than their games, stronger than their insults, and wiser than their manipulation. But silence doesn't mean you suppress your feelings. Silence means you rise above the emotions that want to drag you into unnecessary conflict. Silence doesn't mean the pain didn't hurt. Silence means you decided that the pain will not define you. Silence doesn't mean you don't care. Silence means you care more about yourself than about their approval. There is a special kind of beauty in watching someone who once hurt you lose the privilege of hearing from you, because when you stop speaking, you stop giving them access. When you stop explaining, you stop giving them power. When you stop reacting, you stop feeding the connection. And when you stay silent, you close a door they didn't expect to close. You deserve peace. You deserve respect. You deserve emotional maturity. And sometimes the only way to protect those things is to say nothing at all. And I know it's hard. It's hard to stay silent when your heart is screaming. It's hard to walk away when your mind wants answers. It's hard to hold back when your emotions are burning inside you. It's hard to not send that message, not make that call, not confront the person who hurt you. But you do it anyway. You choose silence anyway. And that is where your strength truly lives. That is where your journey to self-respect begins. Because the day you learn that you don't need to respond to everything is the day you become unstoppable. The day you realize that your silence speaks more truth than your words ever could is the day you gain control. And the moment you stop giving your attention to the people who hurt you is the moment they lose their power forever. But silence is not just a response, it's a transformation. It reshapes your inner world. It changes the way you view people, the way you value yourself, and the way you choose your battles. Silence teaches you what words never could. It becomes a guiding force that pulls you out of the noise and leads you toward clarity. And once you start valuing your peace, once you start protecting your energy, once you start understanding that not everyone deserves access to your heart, you begin to build a different version of yourself, stronger, calmer, wiser, and more powerful. You start noticing things you never paid attention to before. You start seeing who genuinely cares about you and who only pretends to. You start feeling the difference between those who uplift you and those who drain you. You start recognizing the patterns that once blinded you. And with every silent step forward, you detach from the things that hurt you and move closer to the things that heal you. Silence begins as a reaction, but slowly becomes a lifestyle of peace. A lifestyle of emotional discipline, a lifestyle where you no longer allow other people's actions to disturb your inner world. And that shift, that internal shift, is priceless. Because once you taste the power of silence, you will never again waste your energy on arguments that lead nowhere, on people who don't value your words, or on situations that deserve only your absence. There will be moments when the silence feels heavy. Moments when you question whether you did the right thing. Moments when the lack of closure feels like an unfinished chapter. But let me tell you something important. Silence doesn't close the chapter. You do. Silence simply gives you the space to walk away from the page with dignity. And over time you realize that the closure you were seeking wasn't in their hands. It was inside you all along. You will grow in ways they never expected, you will evolve in ways they never imagined, and you will rise in ways they never saw coming, because your silence gave you room to think, to rebuild, to redefine yourself. People who hurt you often expect you to crumble. They expect your world to pause. They expect you to chase after answers. But when you stay silent, you rise quietly, and rising quietly is the most powerful comeback of all. Imagine someone who once underestimated you, someone who thought you needed their validation, someone who thought you couldn't walk away. When they see your silence, they see a side of you they never knew existed. They see a strength they never believed you had. They see that you're not the same person they thought they could play with, manipulate, or hurt without consequences. Your silence becomes your evolution. Your silence becomes the moment they realize they misjudged you. And trust me, that realization hits deeper than any argument ever will. And here's something beautiful. Silence brings peace, but it also brings answers. When you stop talking, you start observing. You start listening to yourself. You start connecting with your intuition. You start understanding what your soul has been trying to tell you. You learn who was real and who was temporary. You see intentions clearly without the noise of emotion clouding your vision. And most importantly, you begin to understand that the way someone treats you is a reflection of them, not a reflection of your worth. Silence gives you the clarity to walk away from what doesn't deserve you. It teaches you that your worth is not dependent on someone's ability to appreciate it, that your value doesn't decrease when someone fails to see it, that your heart is too precious to be handed to someone who cannot hold it gently. When you stay silent, you begin to appreciate yourself more. You begin to heal the parts that were taken for granted. You begin to rebuild the pieces of you that were broken by careless words or cruel actions. And slowly you realize something powerful. Staying silent was the moment you stopped begging for love, attention, closure, or respect. Staying silent was the moment you chose yourself. Staying silent was the moment you walked out of the storm and into your own light. But let's talk about something deeper, the emotional journey that silence brings. Because silence is not easy at first. It's not painless. It comes with nights where your thoughts are louder than your voice. It comes with moments of confusion, moments of doubt, moments where you miss the person who hurt you, even though you know they don't deserve that space in your heart. That's human. You're human. Feeling is natural. Wanting answers is natural. But don't confuse those emotions with weakness. Because strength isn't the absence of emotion. Strength is feeling everything and still choosing peace. Your silence will test you. It will challenge you. But with every test comes wisdom. With every challenge comes growth, and with every silent decision you make to protect your heart, you become someone new. Someone your past self would be proud of. Think of everything you've gone through, the betrayals, the disappointments, the broken expectations, the moments you cried silently because you didn't want anyone to see your pain. You survived all of it, and now you're here, ready to rise, ready to evolve, ready to embrace the kind of strength that doesn't need noise to prove itself. Silence teaches you how strong you truly are. It teaches you that you don't need to react to every situation. You don't need to constantly defend yourself. You don't need to fight battles that drain your soul. You learn to walk away peacefully, knowing that peace is more valuable than winning an argument. And here's the truth: silence exposes people. When you stop talking, you stop explaining, you stop reacting, you get to see who steps forward and who steps back, who reaches out and who disappears, who cares and who pretends. And in that silence, people reveal themselves without you having to say a single word. The ones who care will feel your silence. They will check on you. They will reach out. They will try to understand. The ones who don't care will use your silence as an excuse to walk away. Either way, silence gives you clarity. It shows you who truly belongs in your life and who doesn't. And what about those who hurt you? What happens to them when you stay silent? Let me tell you, silence creates a space they don't know how to handle. They will wonder why you didn't fight back. They will wonder why you didn't respond. They will wonder why you didn't try to fix things. And when people start wondering, they start feeling, they start remembering, they start regretting. Not everyone will admit it, but almost everyone feels it. Your silence becomes a reminder of what they lost. Your silence becomes the echo of their actions. Your silence becomes the reflection of their choices. But the most powerful part, you don't stay silent to make them regret. You stay silent to free yourself from the emotional chains that held you down. Silence isn't revenge. Silence is release. Silence is growth. Silence is you choosing to break the cycle of pain. And as you rise, you begin to understand something extraordinary. People who hurt you were never meant to stay. They were lessons, not destinations. They were chapters, not the whole story. They were storms that shaped the future you. And the silence you chose was the beginning of the next chapter, a chapter where you finally choose yourself. Silence doesn't mean the end of communication. Silence means the beginning of understanding. Understanding that your heart is worthy, that your peace is sacred, that your energy is valuable, that your standards matter, and that you'll never again lower your voice just to be heard by someone who never listened in the first place. So when they hurt you, stay silent, not because you're weak, but because you're strong enough to walk away. Stay silent because you deserve peace, not chaos. Stay silent because you choose healing, not suffering. Stay silent because you know your worth. Stay silent because sometimes silence teaches the lesson words never could. And as you walk forward from here, remember this: your silence is not empty. It is full of wisdom. It is full of strength. It is full of dignity. It is full of self-love. Your silence is the sound of you choosing yourself fully, bravely, unapologetically. You are stronger than the pain they caused. You are wiser than the battles they brought into your life. You are bigger than the hurt they left behind. And the moment you realize that your silence speaks louder than their noise, you stepped into a version of yourself that is unshakable. Walk in that strength. Walk in that silence. And let the world be amazed at the power of a person who rises without saying a word.